your first application. Your solution is at plexidermtrial.com or call the number on your screen.
Introducing the First Alert Radar Network.
With up to 10 times the resolution of other local radars and technology that can pinpoint right down to your street.
First just got faster. The First Alert team, named best in Georgia. Live from Augusta. Breaking news.
Well, breaking news at the top of the hour. We're live on Washington Road and Baston Road, where we just learned one person is dead after they were hit by a train. The Columbia County Sheriff's Office telling us that person was riding a bike and was hit while crossing the tracks there. You can still see a very active scene there. There's likely a lot of traffic forming as rush hour begins, so be sure to avoid that area as we're likely to see that train sitting on the tracks for some time. Again, a person was reported dead after they were hit by a train trying to cross the tracks. We'll continue to follow this and bring you a live update in the next half hour. Switching gears to weather now after a stormy evening yesterday. All right, thanks, Riley. Tonight, we're getting our first look into how Richmond County parents feel about possible schedule changes for the 2025-26 school year. Parents and staff had the opportunity to weigh in on two options. Now, the first being Power Up asynchronous learning days, which is similar to the traditional school calendar, but involved 4 online learning days. The second option is a modified year-round calendar. This option cuts summer break down to 7.5 weeks, but involves more breaks during the school year. Our Sydney Hood joins us live from the newsroom in Sydney. You got your hands on the comments parents were able to leave at the end of this survey. Walk us through what you saw.
Thousands of parents, employees, and even students responded to this survey, and as you may expect, the feedback here is pretty mixed. One parent wrote, "No modified year-round schedule. Students who are performing at grade level or higher need that continuous break." An employee wrote, "Due to low teacher salary, I work a summer job every year to make ends meet. With a year-round calendar, we will work the same number of days, so our pay will not change. However, the change in schedule will prevent me from working a summer job." Other comments, some from even students, are for the year-round schedule. Now, it's up for the board to discuss these responses, and as we'll show you on News 12 at 6 o'clock, they have a lot of feedback to consider.
A lot of feedback for sure. Thanks, Sydney, for keeping us updated on this. Well, the clock is ticking. Well, time is up for Fulton County. For weeks, it's been dealing with a ransomware attack that's threatening to release citizens' private information. The deadline for the county to pay that ransom passed earlier this morning. Patrick Quinn breaks down how it got to this point.
It's whack-a-mole. And again, it's not just one bad actor, it's multiple organizations.
Last week, it appeared the bad guys suspected of hacking into Fulton County had been caught when the feds announced indictments to 5 associates tied to the ransomware group Lockbit.
Today, U.S. and U.K. law enforcement are taking away the keys to their criminal operation.
But someone might have had a spare key, for within days, this new threat, also tied to Lockbit, went up on a dark web portal, giving Fulton County a new deadline of Thursday to meet their demands. Otherwise, sensitive citizen information might be released. Cybersecurity attorney Roy Hadley told me these ransomware groups are multi-layered.
I almost equate them to a cartel in the sense that you could take out a leader or leaders, but there are people underneath that will just step up to fill the void. And so it's a constant battle.
Fulton County said they did not pay a ransom when faced with their first deadline, but the county is now staying tight-lipped, only saying in a statement, quote, "In anticipation of any potential leak of stolen data, we are collaborating with internal and external agencies to ensure individuals who may be affected by the release of any highly sensitive documents are provided resources and support." County leaders told me some systems are back online. Water bills can once again be paid electronically, and the juvenile court online system is accessible. But to check Superior Court cases, like the state's case against the former president, you get this message: temporarily unavailable. A county derailed, and the suspected hackers appear determined.
It's the Wild Wild West, literally, in terms of ransomware out there.
Right now, Fulton County officials say they are not aware of any data being leaked. They do clarify that doesn't mean the threat is over or the ransomware group couldn't release the information at a later time, but we do know the county refused to pay that ransom. When you're driving a car, there are a lot of signs you should look out for, but one sign may be right in front of you on the dashboard. Odometer scams have become less common as vehicles have transitioned to digital displays since those are harder to tamper with, but some cities in South Carolina are seeing an uptick once again. Mechanics say tampering is still possible with digital displays and people are still losing money.
Digital odometers could be tampered with and rolled back, which is fraud and a crime in the state of South Carolina, but it can be done. Digital odometers are a lot harder to manipulate, and once you do, there's a digital footprint that you were there.
The Better Business Bureau and police want you to be extra careful before you buy a car from somebody on the internet. They say you should look for wear and tear on the car that doesn't match the mileage. You can also request a history report on the car. You should report any odometer scams to the BBB. First Lady Joe Biden is making her round
into the morning, not for most of the day. Once we get into next week, those high temps working their way back into the mid-70s, and then another opportunity for storms by Wednesday.
Thanks, Riley. Georgia's music industry pumps $3.7 billion into our state every year. And as it grows, new legislation to create a statewide music office is now getting bipartisan support. Joshua Skinner went into the studio with two Georgia musicians to hear more.
Riff with me for a minute. Atlanta has a wide variety of music.
This is a city that birthed both Mastodon and Outkast.
So does the rest of Georgia.
B-52s and REM.
I think the connection that we have in Georgia with our music is you will always hear some soul.
I don't think we ask too much.
Atlanta native David Ryan Harris recently returned to Georgia after decades in LA.
Guess I believe in love.
What the Georgia music industry and the $3.7 billion it brings into the state each year do not have is a statewide music office.
Why don't you be somebody's angel?
Diane Tourette is a lifelong Georgia musician.
I really hope that Georgia can get behind, our Georgia music.
There are two bills, one in the House and one in the Senate. The goal? To bring the state's 70,000 music workers together and fine-tune the state's music industry.
It affects tourism, it affects all sorts of other industries.
Harris says if Georgia truly wants to be the Hollywood of the South, then it needs to tether its music and film like Hollywood. Georgia already has a state film office. But time runs out Thursday at midnight. One or both bills need to get through both chambers by then.
It would help us retain a lot of the talent.
And maybe give a little back to get a little more.
I don't like when people say, why you moved to Atlanta? Why didn't you move to Nashville? I don't want people to say, why not Atlanta?
Coastal Carolina University is launching the Palmetto State's first ever space program. Now, students under the new program get to work with a satellite orbiting Earth for that hands-on experience. Now, the program will not only have students looking up at the stars, students will study and come up with solutions to problems at home too, including environmental issues like water management and using that satellite technology there. Well, nightmare stories surrounding homeowners associations are everywhere, but that could change in Georgia if new legislation is passed. We'll have more coming up after a short break.
Grocery sale is going on now.
Love is in the air at Interiors Market. This Valentine's Day, give her what she's been waiting for. Trendy furniture and accessories, all at affordable prices. And to sweeten the deal all month long, come in and find that one piece you can't live without and enjoy 10% off. At Interiors Market, we want you to love your furniture, so hurry in and treat your Valentine with just what they need.
A frustrated Georgia homeowner slapped with parking fines by his HOA. The only problem, he doesn't even own a car. Now Georgia state senators are pushing for legislation to reform HOAs. Rachel Polanski breaks down how.
A Paulding County HOA cut off this woman's water after she fell behind on her dues.
I had to get humiliated and ask people to borrow showers, borrow a washing machine to wash my clothes.
A Fulton County HOA hit this woman with a $23,000 lawsuit after she installed a therapeutic rock garden in her front yard.
I just think it's total abuse of power, and it's a situation that should not have happened.
And a Coweta County HOA has been sending this man parking tickets for years.
All different cars.
Different cars.
So you're receiving fines for cars parked around your property,
Yes.
but you don't actually own a car.
No.
Still, Roberto Cardenas paid the fines because he was afraid the HOA would put a lien on his home.
It came to the point where I just wanted to sell the house and finish this nightmare.
At a Belmont Park Homeowners Association meeting last year, residents were told that all parking citation fees would be waived and reimbursed.
So what about the fines that were before today? Are they going to be dropped as well? Everything's going to be, our fines are dropped.
No.
I park it. Okay, so.
But a year later, and Cardenas says he still owed $1,700. While the association offered to credit $600 to his account, he says that doesn't come close to refunding the money he's already paid. Meanwhile, the Belmont Park HOA told Atlanta News First Investigates they'd review the details of Cardenas' situation and find a solution for his specific case.
Horror stories are happening as we speak.
That's State Senator Donzella James. She's introduced 3 pieces of legislation related to HOA reform this session. Among them, the creation of an ombudsman's office to handle HOA and homeowner disputes outside the courtroom. An ombudsman is an official, usually appointed by the government, who investigates complaints and attempts to resolve them. According to the Community Association Institute, 7 states currently have ombudsman's offices or similar programs for HOAs.
And they definitely do not need to impose fines.
In Georgia, an HOA can put a lien on your home and file for foreclosure as soon as you owe $2,000.
This is hurting everybody.
Another one of the senator's bills focuses on limiting the HOA's ability to foreclose on homes for minor fines.
That's not your car.
Not for my car.
It's something Roberto, Beth, and Valerie say is long overdue.
I feel that something definitely needs to be done.
It's just a never-ending assessments and fines and fees.
You're sick of living here.
Yeah.
You want to just part ways.
Yeah.
Now, all 3 of the HOA bills still need to pass out of the Senate by today, the crossover deadline. Riley?
Well, for tomorrow, we're going to stay chilly and unfortunately pretty soggy. A lot of rain out there for Friday, but looking drier into the weekend, and temperatures will warm up as well. Have a quick look at the 7-day just after a short break.
Till summer.
At Thompson Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat, we make buying easy.
Plus, Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale for your first alert. Live from Augusta, breaking news.
Well, live at 5, we're continuing to follow breaking news this evening. A person is dead after authorities say they were hit by a train. Audrey Dickherber is live at that intersection of Washington Road and Bastion Road. Audrey, break down what we know so far.
Yeah, so like you said, we were told that one person is dead after crossing the railroad track, and people have kind of been out here watching the scene, trying to understand what's been going on. Actually, just a few minutes ago, the ambulance left the scene. I'll kind of step out so you guys can see a little bit more of what's going on. We are off Baston Road, so if you're coming this direction, I would try and avoid the You're not going to be able to get onto Washington Road if you're coming from Riverwatch or really from the other side. But that's all we're learning so far. We'll definitely keep you guys up to date once we learn a little bit more about what has happened. But again, news out here.
And Audrey, just a quick question for you. Have authorities on scene told you how long the train is going to be stuck on the tracks there?
No, we're not sure about how long. Since the ambulance just left, it seems like it's going to be quite a bit longer because we do have some police presence out here and it doesn't look like anything's moving anytime soon.
All right, thanks for keeping us updated there on the scene. Again, for drivers who just missed that, the train is blocking the intersection on Washington Road in Baston Road, so you can't go on Baston Road to Riverwatch to get onto Washington Road. Again, that train's going to be sitting there for some time, so try to avoid that area if you can. Thanks again, Audrey.
Sad story out there this afternoon, and our temperatures have definitely cooled to minutes.
All right, thanks, Riley. Ending the cycle of homelessness in Aiken County. After the recent point-in-time count, data shows the number of unhoused people in the county has skyrocketed. But there could be a solution that starts off small, or should we say tiny. Nick Velan explains.
A tiny house is looking to make big changes in the city of Aiken. One person is exploring the possibilities of making this house with a bathroom, bed, kitchen, and more a reality, to get those off the streets and back on their feet. The full-size house looks to be 8 feet wide and 22 feet long in a community of around 20 to 25 houses. George Clare is the president of Aiken County Homeless Housing, and he says these homes will look to be transitional housing to address those who are experiencing homelessness and their needs.
Whatever it takes to get them into a position where they can go get a job that'll pay enough that with possibly other assistance that's available to them, they can move into what I'll call normal housing. And then that frees up a residence for another homeless person to come in and work through the program.
The city of Aiken says that they're looking to make changes to their current ordinance to make this happen. And coming up all new on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we'll explore more of this model tiny house and why the needs of Aiken County are increasing.
All right, thanks for that, Nick. A 23-year-old Waynesboro man is accused of possessing material containing sexual exploitation of children. Officials say the charges come after an investigation through the Internet Crimes Against Children database, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and the GBI. Robert Bridge is now facing charges of possession of material depicting minors in sexually explicit conduct. New charges in the killing of Damon Parrish. Caleb White is now charged with murder, according to the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. He is currently in custody in Aiken County after he was caught in North Augusta Tuesday night. This video is from when U.S. Marshals and North Augusta Public Safety found him in Plaza Place. White will be transferred to Richmond County at a later date. Meanwhile, family and friends will gather this weekend for Parrish's funeral services. Finney and Son Funeral Home have announced that it will be at the Truth Church of Augusta at around 11 o'clock. One teen is still missing and her family is asking for your help. Richmond County deputies say Kaylin Armour went missing on the 15th. She was last seen on Eagle Rock Road, but they don't know what she wore at that time. Her family reached out to us saying that she's not back home yet. Officials say she's known to take ride shares around Richmond and Aiken County, so if you see her, call the sheriff's office. After a court ruling in Alabama left in vitro fertilization services in limbo in that state, other states, including South Carolina, are grappling with whether the same could happen to them. Now lawmakers in Columbia are taking action. Our State House reporter Mary Green has the details.
Days after that Alabama ruling, bills have been filed here at the State House to protect IVF services across South Carolina. But one leading Republican lawmaker says it's not necessary.
Our law is very different from Alabama. Alabama has a ban at conception, and that's what was a big part of the Supreme Court opinion down there. That's not what our law is. I'm confident that IVF is protected in South Carolina.
But others, predominantly Democrats with some Republican backing, point to the state's current abortion law. It defines unborn child as an individual organism of the species Homo sapiens from conception until live birth, and conception as fertilization of an ovum by sperm. They say by that definition, conception is happening outside the uterus through IVF. These bills aim to protect IVF by codifying in state law that any fertilized human egg or human embryo that exists in any form outside the uterus shall not be considered an unborn child. Without this addition, they say IVF could be threatened in South Carolina.
The court looked at our statutes the way that the Alabama Supreme Court looked at their statute. There is, in fact, an interpretation that would lead them to be able to say the very same thing, that IVF in this state would be wrong because they could consider an embryo to be a child.
Both the House bill and the Senate bill were just introduced this week and assigned to their respective judiciary committees. Reporting from the State House, I'm Mary Green.
Governor Henry McMaster says he hasn't read the bills or the Alabama court decision, but he says anything to protect the ability of people who want to have parents or want to be parents to have, quote, beautiful babies is a good thing. Well, this just in, live at 5, Richmond County deputies want you to keep an eye out for this suspect, Isaiah Burns. He also goes by Isaiah Barnes. He's wanted for armed robbery that happened back on the 16th at the Raceway on Deansbridge Road. If you know anything about where he might be, you can call the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. Deputies do say that he could be armed and dangerous. Even with food allergies or diet restrictions, a local bakery is helping you have your cake and eat it too. We'll share more coming up after a short break. Riley?
And we did cool things off today and going to keep things cool tomorrow, but bringing back those rain chances. I'll have a full look at the forecast just after break.
Time free home inspection today.
Our first alert commitment to you is the power of 5 meteorologists. All the tools, the latest technology, and the first team of 5 meteorologists. News 12's First Alert Weather on your side.
Welcome back, folks. Here's a live look. And then next week, mid-70s return on Monday.
Thanks, Riley. If you're looking for something for all ages to take part in, Harlem is the place to be this weekend because the Dr. Seuss classic Green Eggs and Ham will be all over the town. Literally, starting Saturday, you'll find all of the pages in the book on the windows of different storefronts throughout the town. It's all part of the Literacy Council created by the Harlem Mayor Roxanne Whitaker in 2023. There are several storefront stops, and each stop will have various pages as they read the story throughout the town. Debbie Pulliam says it's helping children improve their reading skills, and the first stop on the book walk is with her at Harlem Pharmacy.
The storybook walk is just a way to get the kids interested in reading, kind of get them outside doing something. So they'll start here at the pharmacy. We'll have the first page, and then they'll go across to the bank, and then they'll go down one side of Main Street, and then up the other side of Main Street. I believe they end at the museum.
Leaders say while there isn't a prize for completion, they will have a fun Green Eggs and Ham craft at the end of the storybook walk once each participant has finished. It all kicks off Saturday, March 2nd and wraps up on Sunday, March 10th. On your birthday, cake is almost always a given, but when kids have food allergies or diet restrictions, it can be hard to enjoy sweets safely. Well, that's where bakeries like Sinless Sweets in Evans come into play. They specialize in sugar-free, gluten-free, dairy-free, and vegan desserts and baked goods. Owner Amber Connor says it's important to her to make sure everybody can enjoy sweets while staying safe and, of course, healthy.
So, a lot of people who have celiac or who are diabetic can't just go into a regular bakery and get pastries or, brownies or dessert bars. So that is where we kind of feel a need in the CSRA. And then also, nowadays, there's a lot of kids with allergies. So egg allergies, soy allergy, dairy allergies. So not only are we a healthy bakery, but we're also an allergy-friendly bakery.
Sinless Sweets was started during the COVID lockdown and has continued to expand since then. Now they also ship their sweets across the country.
So you see your favorite celebrity endorsing a product on Instagram or Facebook. Is it real or is it AI? Jamie Tucker will take a look, see if you can tell the difference. Coming up.
First Alert Radar.
999-9999.
Celebrities are paid millions to endorse products, but with AI scammers, they can make any celebrity say whatever they want them to say. Our consumer tech reporter Jamie Tucker shows us how to watch out for these scams.
What the Tech, sponsored by Augusta Preparatory Day School.
Now, the scammers know their work has to be just good enough to fool just enough people to make a lot of money. Now, if you look closely enough at some of the AI-generated ads, you can probably tell what's real and what's fake. The trouble is, most people don't look closely enough until after they spend their money.
My size has always been
This sponsored Instagram reel features country music superstar Luke Combs hawking weight loss gummies. It is Luke Combs, but scammers replaced his voice and his mouth movements to make it appear that he's endorsing the gummies.
In just 6 weeks, I've shaved off 46 pounds and feel better than ever. I'm so
The scammer even had Combs saying he got the gummies from fellow country music star Lainey Wilson. These ads circulated wildly on social media, leading Wilson to record an Instagram reel herself to warn her fans.
Surprise, it ain't true.
People will do whatever to make $1, even if it is lies. Because ain't nobody sent me any gummies.
Now, creating fake ads is simple and cheap. Scammers use free software and type what they want to say in a Combs voice. The software then adjusts his lip movements to match what the scammers write. If you follow the link in the ad like I did, you'll find it isn't really an article in USA Today, but a website out of China. Meta has marked many of these fake ads as false, but Meta has left them up. Why? Because they're sponsored. Meta's getting paid for sharing these ads. So be suspicious of any ad you see on social media, and be skeptical if you see an ad featuring a well-known celebrity. A good rule of thumb is if those ads are not on regular television, they're probably fake. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
In other fake celebrity endorsements featured country star Miranda Lambert and Garth Brooks. A spokesperson for Lambert says their lawyers are trying to have the ads removed. Well, middle schoolers in South Carolina making sure nobody is left out at recess. Now, students at Daniel Island School noticed that their playgrounds were not accessible for kids with wheelchairs and other disabilities. So the student council got together and raised $500 through fundraising, but wanted it to go further. So they made their pitch to the Berkeley County Council, who allocated the students $100,000. Now their actions hit home for the school's assistant principal, whose own son has special needs.
It's me really emotional in a lot of ways. As a father, as an administrator, friend, dad, everybody, I'm just really proud of these kids. Like, absolutely.
This is something important that needs to happen, so it was worth it.
Now, the school and the county are working together to make sure that the students are involved in every step of the process to get these accessible playgrounds installed. You're never too small to make a big difference there. Awesome work by those students. Well, the NFL Scouting Combine has been taking place throughout the week in Indiana.
Here's to more in 2024. It's the Rooms to Go anniversary sale. More new styles, more new collections, more than we've ever had before. Whether you shop online or in store, save big with amazing sale prices on the hottest pieces and coolest packages store-wide. This is more than a celebration. It's a sale that happens only once a year. The Rooms to Go anniversary sale is going on now.
The president named the Senior Bowl MVP. That's it for sports. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Here's to more in 2024. It's the Rooms to Go anniversary sale. More new styles, more new collections, more than we've ever had before. Whether you shop online or in store, save big with amazing sale prices on the hottest pieces and coolest packages store-wide. This is more than a celebration. It's a sale that happens only once a year. The Rooms to Go anniversary sale is going on now.
The President's Day